Game time.
All right.
All right. So this is kind of like low stakes. There's like a handful of questions. I mean, you basically have to like score like more than 50% or better, but like who's counting? But to win a prize, a prize of indeterminate value and questionable whatever. So let's see. All right. So there's a couple different prizes potentially. So you at least you know what you're playing for first.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
this is a good one.
Corona Apocalypse Survival Package.
Oh, okay.
Because, okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is actually, I mean, it's sort of appropriate for Night of the Comet, I guess. Maybe more so than this movie, but okay. So those are that's a potential prize. All right. So this is the 13th Hour Podcast. 13th Hour is a book I wrote. And the image in the background is like some graphics sort of from it. But so it was inspired in part by which 80s movie? So I'll give you the choices here. Iron Eagle, Red Sonja, fine piece of filmmaking with
I remember Red Sonja.
The Last Starfighter, or Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
So you talking about the image here? It was inspired by this
this is
or the 13th Hour in general.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just have to go with The Last Starfighter.
And you would be correct. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it was either Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, which my first movie was a Canon film, and I believe that was too.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I don't know. I see some electricity going through there, but the guy is sort of flying into outer space, so I don't think there was that.
So you're actually using logic to kind of like go, very good.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, no. So anyway, like this is a story that I wrote when I was, like I was pretty young, I think, when I wrote it, and then I didn't publish it until much later, like 2 decades. But it was inspired by these 80s movies that I liked as a kid, and one of which was, of course, The Last Starfighter. So there's a little scenes in there that are kind of like direct homage to that film.
Nice. I'll have to read this story.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I really liked about it was that the two main characters, like Alex and Maggie, are like, there's just these kids from like a trailer park, right? And so the two main characters is one character named Logan. Probably not a surprise that rhymes with Alex Rogan, but I mean, I was 18 when I was writing it, so it was in there. But,
you were worried about subtlety in that time.
Yeah. Well, and his friend Aurora, and they grew up in this orphanage, a tiny little town. They grew up in this orphanage. It's a fantasy story, but it's so that there would be no RV parks, or anything really equivalent, but small little town kind of in the middle of the nowhere. And they're kind of like sort of from, not the sort of like more the misfit side of things, and I really kind of like that about The Last Starfighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a kid.
I think that's one of the attractions about The Last Starfighter is that, again, it's one of those things where, it's relatable, and these kids are they're struggling through, that transition from high school to college, which is stressful for everybody. Sure. And then, Alex finds himself as ordinary kid in this just extraordinary situation. And I guess the theme is, anything's possible. And you just have to go for your dreams.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember when I was watching those films kind of as like a kid and a teenager and that kind of stuff, and then decided to write a story. I obviously didn't necessarily think it would be directly inspired by all those different things, but that was just kind of what was floating around. And I was like, well, I had, at the time, I was probably 17 or whatever it was, having zero experience with any kind of long-term lasting relationship. So I based it off of like, some of these characters that I liked, in movies. And I was like, Alex and Maggie seem to have a very nice relationship. So
yeah. Well, there's nobody else around. I mean, and Jack was the threat, The one other person that was there, he was like the big threat. Right.
Yeah. But when you're a teenager, and you know, you kind of want to believe all that stuff is possible in the best
For
of
sure.
all worlds. I mean, it's so there's a certain, I think, innocence about it that I thought is, I guess, still pretty timeless. I still love watching that movie today.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think that that's something that every kid goes through, whether it's, 1984 or 2021. I mean,
Sure.
kids, it's just the world is a different place now in a way, but we're still human beings and we still struggle through the same kind of things.
Connection and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, so you smashed that one.
Woohoo!
Yeah. All right. So
there's more? Hold on, I
so,
thought I got 100%.
well, we'll do one more and then we'll take a break and maybe watch it and come back to it. But this,
because I'm exhausted.
One of the things in the story, the main character Logan, and he ends up being kind of like, recruited by his kingdom's army, and he has to learn how to become like this sort of soldier, and he gets taught acrobatics and stuff like that. I was a gymnast in high school and stuff like that, so I wanted to throw that in there. And so I don't know if this is a thing in dance. I suspect probably not, but at least in gymnastics, especially if you are like not one of those people that's trained since you were 4 years old, there is this idea of just what we call kamikazeing, a technique, to throw back to our somewhat Japanese movie that we're talking about here. So please define what it means to kamikaze.
To kamikaze a move. I would assume it means to just go for a death-defying thing or something that's just beyond your reach.
And you know what? You would be correct. You are correct. All right, you're doing great so far. All right, so then that's what it means, and that's it leads to injuries sometimes, but sometimes nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Sometimes, exactly, which is also the theme of the Last Starfighter.
Oh wow, that's
it's all kind of coming
full circle.
And Samurai Cowboy.
That's right, exactly. Well, what a segue. All right, we talked about kamikazing. Right, you smashed that one. Okay. Let me move this one so you can see a little bit more. There's a female character. Female character in the 13th Hour. It's sort of the I guess it would be almost like the equivalent of the Maggie, of the story,
Maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, her name is Aurora in the 13th Hour, and she had big hair. The 80s inspired character, obviously, you got to have the big hair. So that was inspired by. Oh, this is a picture of it. This is that's the hair going, and it's sort of big.
Oh, okay, got it.
Little figurine, so you can kind of see the windswept thing and everything like that.
Got it.
So, David Lee Roth in his prime. Okay, so potentially, right? B, Jem from Jem and the Holograms. I don't know if you ever saw that cartoon, but it was a.
Didn't, but that's okay.
That's why there's a visual. Of course, Fabia.
I love that.
Fabio, right? Or Beverly from Howard the Duck.
Oh, well, honestly, I'm gonna just have to say all of the above.
Ooh.
Had you thought of that?
No, but I will give you half credit for that. So that's
otherwise either that or Beverly from Howard the Duck. That looks like the most impressive.
Right. Yes. So you are correct. It is Beverly, but all the others were probably in there too. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give you like full marks for that one, because that's good enough for me. Who's counting?
Yeah.
All right. So,
right.
Yeah.
They all had pretty big hair. Come on.
They all did. It's true. It's true. So you've gotten basically 3 out of 6. You basically already have won a prize, but I mean, just for science, maybe we'll do the others. All right. So you were your character in this particular film was kind of a badass, particularly very capable in The Land of the Comet. Also, same thing in this other fine piece of cinema that I just had a chance to watch, Riding the Edge. Secret agent, defending yourself with firearms and unarmed.
Yet again.
Right. Yeah. So this is a common issue that a lot of people have. when learning how to, I guess, defend yourself, the correct way to make a fist for proper defense is, so we have a couple choices here, multiple choice. Index fingers out, like guns, like this guy. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
It's like he's making gang signs there, but okay. Index fingers out, 6 shooters. Fingers curled in and thumbs on the outside.
Yeah.
Fingers curled but thumbs on the inside. Or fingers curled sort of like loosely, like you're gripping, it's like claws or gripping an egg. Hands at hips, just ready for anything.
Like that.
Just like that. Picture of Rick.
Well, when you're saying self-defense, are you talking in terms of, I don't know, martial arts, or are you talking about boxing? Or, I mean, I think I know the answer, but the only reason I'm questioning it is because Seto in the thing, when he had the gunfight, he had his hands down at his thighs, straight down, just to. Your
best guess. You basically already.
All right, I'm gonna say fist with a thumbs out.
Yes, and you would of course be correct. Now, if you said D, I would give that to you as well, which is the
curled loosely at the hips. Yeah. maybe not in the position that guy's doing it. That's what's his name, the rock and roll singer.
Rick Astley. This clearly needs a visual for all the listeners. Sorry, I'll try to do a visual for this particular part. Anyway, all right. So, you're doing great. Okay. This next one, this one goes with Night of the Comet. This particular, again, this one kind of needs a visual, but it ties into Night of the Comet. So this firearm is known as an Uzi. True or false? This is a blocky looking stamp metal kind of thing for the listeners. You'll need a visual. True or false?
Well, if that's the one that was used in A Night of the Comet, I'm going to say false.
Well, okay. Let's watch a clip from Night of the Comet before we.
Okay.
Here. Great. See, this is the problem with these things. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis. The car didn't know the difference.
Okay. Do you want to revise your answer?
Well, Daddy would have got us Uzis, mean that wasn't an Uzi. Now, if that's the same gun, which it looks similar, I mean, is it not the same? I can't really tell. I don't know what an Uzi looks like. I don't remember like that thing on the back, for instance, but the rest of it looks like what we were shooting. Am I correct?
What's your answer? True or false?
I guess I have to say false. I mean, true. If that's an Uzi, then that's because we didn't have Uzis in the thing. Daddy would have got us Uzis, but that looks kind of like it looks like a Mac 10 is what we had, except for that thing on the back. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah. So this was like, of course, 80s films, like they were awash with these things. And anyway, so
is that a picture of an Uzi?
Yeah. So, well, actually, I have another clip here, and this is from this fine piece of cinema.
Yes. Oh.
Remember this one?
Oh my God.
So that was you, apparently. I mean,
yeah, that's me, man.
At least someone that looked like you. So that actually was an Uzi. So
that was an Uzi. So
I think it's called like a micro Uzi or something like that.
Yeah, that was really small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying that was an Uzi. Is that what you're saying?
So the very first picture, and again, the listeners will need a visual for this.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you want?
Okay. This firearm is known as an Uzi. True or false? True.
No, it's false.
I said false, and you're like, "Do you want me to revise?" And I say, "This firearm is an Uzi." I said false at first, so I keep thinking, "Oh, he's trying to change my mind." So
yeah, so it is. You were correct the very first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
This firearm is known as an Uzi, so that's a Mac 10.
Yes, yeah.
But the one in Riding the Edge was a micro Uzi or something. Yeah, it seemed a lot smaller for sure.
Anyway, I just bring it up because like they were just like used kind of interchangeably, like in so many of these movies, and so
right,
anyway.
Right. And that whole scene that you showed, Daddy would have got us Uzis. That was almost improvised. I mean, we kind of discussed it with the director because the Mac 10s that we were using kept stopping, like they did jamming. Yeah. And basically the reason we had those, it was supposed to be an Uzi, and they were too cheap to get us Uzis, so they got us Mac 10s. And if you're familiar with the trivia of Night of the Comet, Tom Eberhardt, who directed and wrote the screenplay, he in a photo of us in one of the earlier shots, it's Kelly Maroney, Sam, and Reg, and our father, the Green Beret, who happens to be Tom Eberhardt. So he was really mad that they wouldn't let him get Uzis, and they settled with these Mac 10s. Then the Mac 10s just jammed all the time, and so there was that little kind of jab at the producer saying Daddy would have got us Uzis because he wanted Uzis, and he was our dad theoretically in the picture.
Oh, good story. Yeah. Buy American. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's that. You basically got that one. All right. So the last one you don't actually.
But the first time I said it wasn't. It was true or false. It was false.
We're not.
You were like playing around with it. It's hard to tell because it's been a while since I've held a Mac 10, and I don't remember that thing on the back of it.
How many people have held one?
Yeah, right.
Most people cannot actually get them. And what you would use it for, I don't know. But speaking of which, I guess the last question is speaking of like Night of the Comet. So zombie attack, you have 10 seconds to save yourself using your environment. So things in your environment, just as those girls would have done. So if you want to play this one,
zombie attack.
Yeah. Whatever those guys, I don't know what you referred to them in Night of the Comet, whatever they were called. So do you want to go for it?
I think.
Yeah.
Well, explain to me what it is I'm supposed to do in my environment, like in this room. What would I do to protect myself against a zombie attack?
Yeah. What could you do to protect yourself? You could also escape the situation if you so desire. I mean, you have 10 seconds to do it. I can count down.
10 seconds. Yeah, I would probably. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
go for it. 10, 9, 8.
I would run out of the apartment and start running
5.
Batshit out of hell down the stairs. Because zombies don't run, right? They just walk slowly and drag a bunch of slime around. So you run.
That's a good point. Yeah. There you go. You got it.
I don't know that much about zombies, but in the case, in Night of the Comet, I got to beat one up in an alleyway. I don't think I killed it though.
There goes the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah.
There goes the neighborhood. So anyway, that's one of the prizes. You get your own 13th Hour Podcast hand sanitizer. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Perfect for the pandemic that we're in.
Yeah, the pandemic that never ends.
Right.
Oh man. Thank you. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll get it to you. I don't know. My people will talk to your people, and it'll come to you in a hermetically sealed bag of some sort. I don't know.
Okay, I can't wait to receive it, because I don't have quite enough hand sanitizer left over from that first rush.
Right. Yeah.
I've got like 3,000 masks. I've got hand sanitizer in every shape and size.
Yeah. Right.
I hate hand sanitizer. Oops, I shouldn't say that, because that's a great prize. I would rather just wash my hands. Putting more stuff on dirty hands just makes me feel gross somehow. But I guess in a pinch, it's not bad.
One thing you can do with it, if you ever so need to, as we've been talking about survival, is that it's not a bad fire starter. You can put it on something and light something on fire.
Yeah, good idea. Good for camping, because there's lots of alcohol in it, right? And I mean, that is that label going to come with it?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes it worth it right there.
Right. Yeah. It's actually in production as we speak.
Cool.
And you got that prize. So, yes.